Today's lesson deals with modeling how to solve linear equations. It's a lesson that will be done in the computer lab using virtual manipulatives. Here's a look at the lesson plan. Quick summary here. Students will complete a web quest. This web quest will have the students use virtual manipulatives online to model how to solve linear equations. It's 8th grade standards I'll be covering. Should take one class period in the computer lab. The topic would be obviously solving linear equations. Many students can solve linear equations algebraically, but to solve them using manipulatives comes as a challenge to them. So as they arrive in the computer lab, I'm going to ask them to log on to the class website. Once there, they're going to click on the web quest link, and I'll show you that on the next page. Here's our class website, and underneath links there's a link to the web quest right here, modeling linear equations. They will click on this link. It'll bring them to this web quest here. The web quest has introduction, task, process, evaluation, conclusion. So very easy for the students to follow. This lesson is great to use after we have been solving some basic linear equations, doing the opposite to both sides. So after I introduce the web quest to the students, I'll ask the students to click on the task. Once here, okay, this explains what we'll be doing, and we're going to go through this first task together as a whole class so they can become familiar with this web quest. So we have to first click on this answer sheet. The answer sheet is nice because it breaks it down question by question in the process, so the students just have to follow the process step by step. Okay, there is the same exact questions here. Now they have two options for this. They can either, one, they could open this up in a tab and save it as a Word document and post it to our online notebook, or option number two, students could take a printed out answer sheet and work on it in the computer lab and pass in the paper copy. So there's two different options. I'll be accepting both options. The next step is for students to click on the process. Here's the process. Part one, again, we'll be doing together as a class. It's going to bring up, we need to right click here so it opens in a new tab, and it's going to bring up a virtual scale with bags and blocks on it. And this is where the answer sheet comes in, and it breaks it down 1, 2, 3. Okay, it's very easy, very simple for the students to follow. Here's what the virtual balance scale is going to look like. The bags represent the x's, the blocks represents the ones. They'll be given an equation on the answer sheet and on the process. They'll have to add blocks as needed, take away blocks, add x's, because there are 3 different equations that the students will work through. And they'll have to solve them algebraically as well as using the virtual balance scale. Part 2 they'll be doing by themselves, and it's very, very similar to what we did. They're given different problems here. They'll have to set up using another balance scale, and they'll have to, now it consists of bricks and blocks. So it tells them, click, create a problem. Here's what you type in to get this equation. Drag and drop 2 x blocks and 5 unit blocks at the left side of the seesaw. So it tells them step by step exactly what to do. Here's what that seesaw looks like. Here's the x block, so they would have to add 1, 2, 3 x blocks in and 1 unit block here, and then on the right side, this acts as the equal sign. Then on the right side of the equation, they'll have to add 4 blocks here. This is part 2B. Again, the same type of thing. They're going to be there's going to be another virtual balance scale, but now we're going to start to incorporate negative coefficients in front of the x's and also negative numbers. So again, right click in here, it's going to pop up, it's going to open up a new window. Here's an image of the new window, and again with the seesaw, the balance scale, now with negative x's and negative 1 values. And again, you still have the positive x's and the positive 1 values. So it starts to get a little bit more complicated. Also in this one, it will start to bring in variables on both sides of the equations, so students can work through that. They'll be reminded to click on the evaluation tab, and that will bring them to the rubric, which it's clearly stated here, criteria needed for a 1, a 2, and a 3. They should have plenty of time to go through example 2A and 2B throughout the class. Finally, before the students leave, I will mention the homework to them, and they'll have to go back to our class website, and I created a blog here, and the students are asked to blog about today's class, one positive thing they experience, and maybe one challenge that they experience. So they'll click on this, modeling how to solve linear equations day 1. Once they click on that, it will bring them to the actual blog. Here's the blog that I created, and I just put here as a reminder, list any positive parts of today's lessons and one challenge if you experience one with today's lesson. So I'll be able to monitor this. I get notifications when students do post comments, and I'll be able to engage in the conversation and just to kind of self-reflect on my end to see how the lesson went. So hopefully you enjoyed the lesson. Thank you.